Welcome back to rheumatoidsolutions.com, the podcast that brings you positive, uplifting, and strategic information to help you minimize your symptoms with autoimmune arthritis and help you live a healthier, happier life. And before we get into today's episode, which is going to be about ankylosing spondylitis symptoms reversal, it's going to be fantastic. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who attended the summit. I'm now back into podcasting again after taking a little bit of a break because the summit was all consuming. We had nearly 8,000 registrations for the summit. It was absolutely so awesome to see all of the wonderful comments and feedback and the sharing of it on social media and the huge uptake of the audience who participated throughout the summit. So thank you so much for everyone who registered and who shared this information. And also a big thanks to everyone who purchased the All Access Pass or joined Rheumatoid Solutions during that time, who also gained access, therefore, to the summit materials, because in doing so, you helped me to recoup the enormous amount of time and energy and costs associated with putting that summit on. And this will help me to be motivated and help me to facilitate the organization of another event next year. So I will do another summit next year, and I can't wait to bring that together for you in 12 months' time. And if you have any special medical experts or naturopaths or anyone who you feel would be really valuable for next year's summit, please send me an email and I will take them into consideration and potentially reach out and bring them into the fold for next year. So thank you once again. For those of you who did not get the opportunity to access the summit in full, you can still now access all of the summit information within Rheumatoid Solutions or Rheumatoid Support membership. So if you would like to access that summit, simply join one of those platforms and you'll have access to all of that information, 17 amazing presentations. So that was the first thing I wanted to share. The next thing is a really funny little story. My guest today is waiting while I'm about to share this, and she's had to wait a little bit longer because as we just sat down to hit record, my wife comes in through to interrupt me here holding a broom and telling me that a bush turkey is climbing over my sunlight and sauna that I just bought only a few months ago, which took a couple of months to get set up because of the COVID restrictions. No one could install it for us. 2 bush turkeys, which if you don't know international, are basically turkeys that live in the bush of Australia. So they're quite robust and they create a big mess and they dig holes in the ground and stir up everything looking for grubs and worms and stuff. And they were out on our deck and climbing over the top of my new sauna. And so my wife was freaking out and I had to go out and push bush turkeys off of the top of our sauna with a broom. So now I'm back and ready to go. And Tiffany, you've been so patient waiting for me to get that resolved. And thank you for joining us today.
My absolute pleasure.
Tiffany, you sent me an email about a month ago, I'm guessing, and it was really eye-opening for me. You basically said how far you've come in what would now be about 4 months since you started the Patterson program. You were facing some serious medication prospects. Can you give us this summary, this transformation in just a short period before and after, so that we can really build interest for what we're about to discuss?
Yeah, of course. So basically back in June, I was diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis, which is inflammatory arthritis of predominantly the spine, but joints as well. Was finding it hard to even walk, sit on the toilet, drive, anything. My C-reactive protein was at 49 at that point in time. And now it's down to 0.7, which is absolutely amazing. I don't have any pain at all.
And what did the rheumatologist say?
Initially, they wanted to put me on Rinvoq, which is a form of biologics. I was really hesitant about that because of all the side effects. Not that they told me any of the side effects. I had to actually look them up. And yeah, I just completely was off doing any of that. I then got a second opinion from another rheumatologist. She wanted to put me on Cimzia, which again is a form of biologics, plus methotrexate. Again, I hadn't heard great things about that. So I started your program. When I started your program, my C-reactive protein was at 36, so it was still really high. And 10 days after starting it, I got my bloods done again and it was down to 5.4.
Yeah. Isn't that just the most enormous testimony to the right food, the right approach for the gut?
Absolutely amazing. I'm so happy. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah. Wow. This is just so exciting. It's so exciting. You know, the first thing that comes to mind, other than to say, congratulations, well done, this is just amazing. The next thing I want to say is, did you ever get caught up in the misleading guidelines that exist in some ankylosing spondylitis communities about not eating starch foods? Did you ever get caught up in that misleading world?
Definitely. So I tried to join all these ankylosing spondylitis groups, I think the day that I got diagnosed. I think I joined about 10 of them on Facebook. A lot of them were the no starch approach and things like that. A lot of them very negative. So immediately after I joined, I pretty much unfollowed most of them, apart from one natural therapies page, which is what put me onto you.
Okay, excellent. And I can say emphatically that ankylosing spondylitis responds just as well to the exact same approach as what we've put together for rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, undifferentiated, just generic kind of inflammatory arthritis that's not really diagnosed with anything specific.
Mm.
And it's so counterproductive, this so-called anti-starch kind of evidence that exists. And the evidence works against what is sound principles that exist for all the other inflammatory arthritis diagnoses. So why would that one be any different? It isn't. The information is wrong. And the moment that I have a few more helping hands with me on my scientific research efforts, I will create more comprehensive evidence against those publications.
Yeah.
I went down this path one time and someone created this information for me. And I actually already have a document that helps to counteract those misbeliefs. And if anyone wants that, they can email me. I don't think I have it on a web page at the moment. My bad. But there is a document I've already got with scientific evidence. It just needs strengthening because I had it done about 6 years ago. Okay. Mm-hmm. So just want people to know if they've got ankylosing spondylitis, you want that document, email info@rheumatoidsolutions.com. So let's talk about, the length of time here. So some people might say, oh, but Tiffany, we're only talking about, 5 months or something. That's why, maybe that's the reason you kind of did well, but you've actually had joint pains for a long time. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. So about 12 years now. So I'm 31 and a half. I've had a bad back since I was 19. So a long time. I would get bad sciatica, which for anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's pain in the sciatic nerve region, which starts at the top of your leg. And when you walk, it's excruciating when it's bad. You are limping. You have to hold your leg up to actually move. It's so bad. So I've dealt with that on and off for around about 12 years, but I've never really actually known the cause. And I would only really get it, say, for a week or so at a time. So it would flare and then it would go away. So I just saw it as being part of my life, a bad back. I've been a beauty therapist for almost 12 years. So I assumed that could have played a part in why I had a bad back from, bending over the beds and doing treatments with clients and things like that. And it wasn't until this year that I actually looked into things with a specialist, got my MRI and everything done, and I was diagnosed with this.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so quite potentially, if you'd have had an MRI done, on this lower back region 5 years ago. You might have been diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis 5 years ago. Would that be fair to say?
100%. Definitely. Definitely.
Okay. Now, tell us about sciatica. When we're in classes like Bikram yoga class, they always say, if you've got sciatica, then you might want to make this modification. You gave us a sort of an example of its how it plays out with the symptoms, but where does it originate from, and like where do you feel the discomfort? What parts of what parts of your legs in particular? Like, give us as much detail as you can.
So pretty much what it feels like, it's in the top of, say, your bum cheek, and it moves all the way down your leg. So it starts like a stabbing pain in your bum, and as you walk, it kind of radiates down your whole leg.
Is it nerves? Do you think it's triggering a nerve?
Definitely. So the sciatic nerve runs all the way down, and it's absolutely excruciating. It just feels like you're being stabbed constantly.
Right. Yes. Sounds wonderful.
Yes, it is.
You know, if your interviewer was someone who hadn't experienced nightmarish pain, they'd be like, "Oh, Tiffany, like that's just sounds." But it's like, "Oh, come on, everyone in our communities all had agony." So they're like, "Oh, okay, stabbing pain. Yep. Add that to my daily routine." I see. So, right. Well, walk us through then your initial first few days following the Patterson program, and how quickly did you experience results for people with ankylosing spondylitis or anyone with inflammatory arthritis who's wondering, okay, I'm on the fence, should I begin? How quickly did things happen, and how hard was it to implement the changes?
Okay, so we'll go back to June first of all. So just in terms of my pain, back in June, I had a really sore left knee. So I couldn't lift my knee out of bed. I had to physically pull it up with my hands to get myself out of bed. It was quite swollen. I had an excruciating left foot, a swollen left toe, my big toe. So I could barely walk on that leg at all. I had previously had sciatic pain all down my right leg, again, making it really hard to walk. I was basically up through the night as well, getting back spasms all through my back. So between the hours of about 1 and 3 a.m. every single morning, I would be getting up, hobbling to the kitchen, going through the fridge to quickly eat something so that I could down some painkillers just to try and get a little bit of the pain away. Not that it took it away, but it just eased it off. I'd then hobble back to my room, get myself into bed into a position where I would just be lying flat on my back and just be sitting there wishing and waiting for the pain to go until the morning. It was horrible. So in these, from around about June to say July was when I was seeing my rheumatologist and things like that. And that's when I was weighing up whether to go on medication. Everyone could see how much pain I was in and they just wanted me to go on it. And just everything in my body was telling me, no, I just don't want to do it. I want to go for a more natural approach. I found your program around about July, I think it was. And at the end of July, that was when my inflammatory markers, so my C-reactive protein, that was at 36, which from my understanding is very high. It's meant to be under 5, I believe. It was 36 about 2 weeks before I started your program. I started your program at the start of August. And within 10 days of starting, I had my bloods done again. And that's when my C-reactive protein came down to 5.4. So already I knew it was working. I got my results and I almost cried because I was so happy that I can't even explain the feeling. In terms of how long it took for me to see a change, I guess, in my pain, I think I saw a change within the first, say, 10 to 12 days, a moderate change. There was still a long way to go. I was finding it hard to walk still, but it had eased off significantly. I think all in all, how long it took for the pain to completely go away, I think around about 6 or 7 weeks. So in hindsight, it didn't take long at all. It's amazing. In terms of how hard it was to implement, so I didn't do the juice cleanse part of the diet. I just started from the baseline. And the only reason was I didn't have a juicer at the time. and I wanted to get started as soon as possible because I had limited time between when I was seeing my rheumatologist next and what decisions I was going to make in terms of medication. So I just wanted to get started. And I got a juicer in the meantime anyway. For anyone that doesn't know, the Patterson program starts out doing a celery and cucumber cleanse. So instead of starting out with that for the first 2 days, I just brought those juices into it when I got my juicer. In terms of how hard it was to implement the changes, the first few days, it was a little bit of a struggle, but I just kept telling myself, choose your hard. Do you want to be on medication for the rest of your life? Or do you want to have a period of time in your life where you eat really simply, wholesome foods as well, and hopefully there'll be no pain. And I chose that, and it worked. So yeah.
I love that. You've given an example here where you skip the cleanse, because a lot of people who consider going on this plan, they get afraid of doing the cleanse mostly for the reasons of weight loss. They don't want to do a cleanse because they don't want to lose the weight. And I've reassured everyone who has that concern that you don't have to do the cleanse. It is optional. No. And one of the main benefits is for you to see the relationship between, stopping your food intake and your symptom level. And when you get that dramatic consequence of not eating and then, the dramatic pain reduction, then people say, wow, okay, I'm all in. This works. I can see the relationship now. But that 2 days, it's not exactly, not a lot happens in 2 days in terms of your gut microbiome, in terms of your oxidative stress. You're still, when you start eating, going to be sort of on an equal platform mostly to people who didn't do it. It's more of an aha moment to experience that relationship. So I'm really pleased that I can now share your interview and say, look at what Tiffany did. She didn't do the 2-day cleanse. It doesn't have to be done. Look at the results. You can still do it. So I'm really pleased for that. Now, let me ask you this. How did you do any flavoring with spices or salts or anything else to make the foods more interesting, or did you just keep them exactly as laid out?
When I started out, I literally just used the Himalayan rock salt a little bit with my quinoa and my bok choy and my salads and things like that. I honestly just wanted to keep it as basic as possible. I was in so much pain that I would do anything at this point to take it away. It was hard. So with my roommates, for example, I live with my sister and her boyfriend. They're constantly eating pizza and takeaway and things like that. So they next to me eating this big pizza or cake or whatever it may be, and I'm sitting here with this bowl of quinoa and bok choy, just happily going along my night. But you know what? Each day that goes on, it gets easier and easier. And it's funny, I actually crave the foods from the baseline phase now, and I actually still eat them regularly. I love it. So your body gets used to it and it starts craving the good stuff. So
so true. You mentioned swelling before. I'm interesting to hear. Did you watch like the slow setting sunset, the dissipation of that swelling? Did you observe it just go down? You didn't have to get a cortisone injection or anything like that? No. Tell us about the swelling.
Nothing at all. So basically I had swelling in my left knee and also in my left toe. In my knee, when my second rheumatologist felt it and examined it, she said there was a lot of fluid in there. She was considering giving me a little bit of prednisone to start taking between when I was going to start, if I was going to start the other medication or not, but I just didn't want to go on it. So I left that. I think it took around about 4 weeks for the swelling in my knee to go down. The toe, it's taken a long time. I actually have a before and after of my toe, and it's amazing. You can see how much, basically I couldn't bend my toe at all, and now I can bend it right over again. So I've got a before and after, which I've actually just popped up on Instagram today. It's amazing. So for anyone that has anything like this, I highly recommend taking photos when you're in pain. I know that's probably the last thing anyone is thinking of doing, but you forget about how much pain you are in and you forget about the progress that you've made once you're better. So, yeah.
I just saw that Instagram post today, and I didn't actually make the connection because, on Instagram, we often have different anchors to our names. Like on our main Instagram profile is Patterson Program. So, people might not know that my name is Clint, for example, if they just follow our thing. Likewise, I saw that come up this morning on Instagram, and I hadn't made the connection until now that was also you. So how lovely. Yeah. Yes, and the image that you're describing there, yes, you're sitting down, your feet are up, and there's sort of a nice background behind your feet. And, you're not able to bend your toes down. But then after that, then subsequently the photo shows that both toes are all bent forward. So that must have been painful to walk on those, on your feet when they were like that.
Oh, it was horrible. I was limping around everywhere. Anywhere I'd go with anyone, people would ask me to go for walks and things like that. And I'd have to drive to the place where we're walking just to go and sit because I couldn't do it. So yeah, horrible.
Tell us what your colleagues are saying at your beauty therapy clinic. What are they saying about the differences that they've witnessed with you?
Oh, they're so excited. I honestly tell, because my clients, I have some really good clients and things like that, and they've all asked how I have been because I obviously haven't seen them in a long time. They're all so amazed and they're so happy and they're just so proud. It's so exciting. I tell all my clients about you and your program. And it's amazing once you have a condition like this, how many people you come across that have something similar. Like I've met so many people in the last few months that have rheumatoid or AS, ankylosing spondylitis. And I just get so excited and passionate now about helping people and telling them about you guys because it works. It's so good. So, yeah, they're all really excited.
Well, thank you for that. And I couldn't agree more that once you tell someone about this, you find that a remarkable number of people around you actually are living with autoimmune conditions.
Yeah,
so just by way of example, my next door neighbor has ankylosing spondylitis. All right. And just to blow our minds here for a minute, and this makes it sound like our autoimmune conditions are much more easier to manage than they are. But he used to be on methotrexate up until about 9 years ago, and for the last 9 years he's been off drugs from ankylosing spondylitis, and doesn't see his rheumatologist anymore. And as long as he keeps moving, he surfs each day and he's active. He said, I'm fine. And he does. He looks fine. He's very active. He's older than me, and he's had his ankylosing spondylitis diagnosis for probably 15 odd years. And he really is fine. Like when you see him getting around, he's in good shape. And then another neighbor in the same little community that we live in, she has multiple sclerosis. And then the hairdresser that I go and see, she has Hashimoto's. You talk about therapists, right? And how they, you really have conversations with your clients. And so when I was speaking to her about, what I do for work and stuff, she's like, oh yeah, I've got Hashimoto's and blah, blah. And so we always talk about that. So, Oh, and the lady whose dogs my kids play with out in the park, she's had rheumatoid arthritis for 20, 30 years or something. So maybe it's just because we're in that mindset that we pay attention, but definitely, it's all around. Really, people are struggling all around the place.
For sure, definitely. I mean, about 2 months ago, funnily enough, I happened to just be lying on DY Beach, and I happened to meet someone that was lying next to me, and his mum has Crohn's and rheumatoid and things like that, and she's not in a great state, and she's thinking of starting a program now as well because I told her about it. So, it's mental, but it's so good.
Crazy. So. And what else is crazy is you mentioned DY Beach. That's our local beach. How close do you and I actually live together? Where do you live?
I literally live across from
what suburb?
Oh,
across from
DY.
Yeah. You live in DY. Okay. Yeah, well, so do I. So we basically walk past it. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm literally across the road from the beach.
That's awesome. Right near the set of shops just down there. And yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Across from the little park as you walk along the bike path?
Not the park. So where the surf club is, the park's up
Right.
the other end, and I'm more towards where you're starting to walk towards
I know.
Long Reef.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, well,
Yeah.
there you go. We could have done this in person,
Could have done
Tiffany.
this on the beach, Clint.
We could have done it on the beach. Well, maybe I'll see you. I'll see you out and about, and we can continue to
Definitely.
celebrate your wonderful progress. Any tips that you might be holding onto some gems for us? Things that you've had to do that are a little bit different than what is laid out in the materials, or ways that you believe you've discovered something that's helped you over and above that, just to continue to build our knowledge base here for everyone.
Yeah, sure. So things that have helped me through this whole
Yeah.
journey kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
or the non-negotiables. Like if someone was to say, what's the most important aspects of this? Is it compliance? Is it doing it exactly like that? Or is it, you've got to make sure that you do X, Y, Z? Or which parts of it are most crucial for you?
For ankylosing spondylitis, you do need to exercise every single day. When mine was bad, even when I couldn't walk properly, I would make myself walk. So I'd be doing 60 minutes of exercise a day, not a jog or a run or anything like that, gentle walk every single day. I would be doing about 15 to 20 minutes of yoga morning and night, just off my laptop, finding something that's really gentle online. That really helped me. Your mental state, that's obviously really important. You need to, as I saw that you said in your program, you need to write down why you're doing this, why you want to get out of the pain, who you're doing it for, which is, I guess, obviously yourself, but things like being able to go out in social settings and feel normal, being able to exercise, um, and just the whole concept of choosing your hard. So, do you want to sit down and do a program like this for a few months and see if it works and get back to feeling like a normal person? Or do you want to go down the road of pain and drugs and side effects and things like that? In terms of your program, the first 12 days, I think, is when you do the baseline bits where you can only eat obviously minimal kinds of things. That was hard in itself, but you just got to stick to it. And as I said, keep reminding yourself of why you're doing it. I actually did the baseline for 21 days because each day that I went on, I just wanted to keep getting better and better. And I think I could have stuck it out for a lot longer, but I think on day 22 was when I started. I think I tried rock melon for the first time, and I was on a massive high from that. I felt like I don't even know, like had a caffeine shot or something. Like it was amazing. Fruit is like the most exciting thing in my life now that I've been able to bring it back in.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Persistence is key, but it's not a hard thing to do, honestly. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me, really. And there's not actually a day that's gone by where I've ever been in a mindset of, why has this happened to me, or why me, or been in that victim mentality. I've always thought, this has happened for a reason. It's been a blessing, and your program's been a blessing, and it's changed my life in more ways than just the pain as well. My happiness levels, my motivation, my energy, everything has just gone up from doing your program. So it's great.
Yeah, it just makes me feel so happy to hear that you're doing so much better. That's just amazing. You're 31. You're young. You're vibrant. You've got a great opportunity to help people in this space. Has it crossed your mind? And obviously Instagram's one platform, but has it crossed your mind to sort of start a blog or to be an influencer in this space in trying to help people to eat healthier and to inspire people with the same diagnosis?
Yeah, definitely. I just from knowing how much pain I was in a few months ago, I'm a completely different person now, and I would love to one day be helping people get through that, and know that there is another solution. 100%. Yeah.
If we were to do a retreat here in Sydney, would you be interested in being one of our staff or helping to help people if they come through our retreat.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think when you're in a mindset of pain, you just honestly, you get yourself in this bubble of thinking that there's absolutely no way out. Like, I remember sitting on the floor struggling to do this yoga that I knew I had to do, and I would sit there crying because my feet were hurting so much and I couldn't bend in certain positions. And to think that other people are feeling like that, and being able to help them get out of that and know that there's another solution, I would definitely be down for that. Yeah, for sure.
And I think it just fits also with your service kind of lifestyle already. When you're in the beauty, it's a therapy, right? And so you already have that personality trait of caring for people and being nurturing and looking after them. So it's really not much of an extension just to shift that and say, well, here's someone, and they're not coming in to see you because they want to get rid of some rosacea on their face or whatever it is that, but what they're here with us because they're in pain, and you've got such experience with this now that's really valuable.
Definitely.
I think, talk about how people can find you on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
So I've only just made it. Let's have a look. So it's called those.healing.vibes, all lowercase. So what I'll be posting on there for now is just little inspirational quotes, some before and afters of things like my swelling and when my condition was bad. And definitely my meals. So one thing I did do when I started the Patterson program is I think I took probably 1,000 photos of my meals each day and every day. What my pantry looked like, what my juices looked like, what my shopping looked like, the brands of different things that I was getting, because I was always planning on making one of these pages one day, and it's just so happens that I've just started it now. So that's another thing as well I will add for anyone that is going through this type of pain. Definitely keep a pain diary or a journal, because as I said, you do forget the pain that you're in once you're out of it. Like, I can't even imagine being in the pain that I was in now because I'm not in any pain. But looking back on my old diaries and my journals and things like that, I almost started crying the other night reading the entries because they were shocking. So anyway, the Instagram page documents basically all of that. So you'll see all of that on there.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, can you give it to us again, and I'll repeat it back as well?
Yeah, so it's those, so THOSE.healing.vibes.
Wonderful.
And when I say dot, I mean full stop.
Yeah, wonderful. I know I've had a lot of people on Instagram say that quite a friendly, happy, interactive community is happening around the Patterson program users and so on. And it's not something I've organised. I just keep saying, I've met them through the hashtags and so forth. So it's really nice to hear. So it'll be great that you're helping to build that more broadly. I just want to echo something you said that is just so crucial about exercise. And the greatest results that I've seen, of which yours is comparable to, with clients or users of the Patterson program, is they all consistently engage in a lot of exercise. It is just as crucial as making the dietary changes. And what I've observed is that swimming is outstanding and yoga is outstanding. And you've chosen the yoga option. You've also got the beach right outside your doorstep if you want to start doing swimming, as us here in Australia are heading into summer now. So that's really exciting as well, just to keep the momentum going and keep in a great maintenance mode. It seems that the exercise, the rewards, the return on investment for exercise when you have AS is outstanding. It's like it really rewards you with pain relief, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And you can only do what you can do. I think don't push yourself to, go for a run or anything like that when you're in pain. You can only do what your body can handle, but set yourself little goals. I would say set myself a goal of, okay, by 4 weeks time, I want to be able to walk up that hill at curl, which I couldn't do months ago because it would hurt my knee. or I want to run along the sand. That actually was one of my main goals for the end of the year this year. And I managed to accomplish that about 3 weeks ago, which was really exciting. So I accomplished that one early. But yeah, getting yourself into a good routine of exercise and something that you like doing as well, so it's not a chore. That would be one of the key things I would suggest.
Yes. And I come back to, I like going and doing pull-ups at the outdoor pull-up bars, which ever since the gym closed, I've started to use absolutely religiously. Every second day I go, and I've been doing that now for 8-9 months consecutively. Only day I missed was yesterday for family reasons, and I'm going today. It's and I love that, and I enjoy the micro progress that I make each time. And before that, it was Bikram yoga, and at other times it's been bike riding. And we've got to find, as you say, something that we really enjoy, and the goal is the habit. So we need to create a habit that we can stick to, and so make it one we enjoy. And setting the also objectives like you've done it is so important as well. I was just reading, it sounds so trivial, right? But there's just a news headline came up that I tapped on before this morning, and the trivial example is about having a goal, and that in these one-day cricket events that are happening around the world, almost always the team that is chasing the target win the match. And I was thinking, why is that? It's because the team that's chasing, they don't have better weather conditions or a better pitch or anything. It's because they know exactly what the goal is of the number that they're trying to hit. And they are chasing a specific number of runs to win the match, and they can all think in their mind exactly how they need to go about to do it. So having a specific goal is a huge advantage, and it's something we should all leverage. Like you did, write down when you would hope to be able to go for a run, write it on paper. Here's my notepad, everything I want to achieve and do, and it's all in this book, and I need a new one because it's full. Half of my plans and half of children's scribbles, which they always scribble on when they come and say, "Daddy, Daddy," and then they just start scribbling in my notebook. So yes, let's get the goals down. Let's exercise. Let's eat right. Let's get the mindset right. Living near the beach helps a lot, right? You've got that beautiful outdoor environment there that you can access. So,
of course.
What a wonderful, wonderful set of circumstances, and what a great result you've achieved. So thank you, Tiffany. What a pleasure to meet you. And I'm sure that we'll bump into each other down at DY Beach one day.
Oh, definitely.
Any final words before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it. I just want to say thank you so much. You've honestly changed my life. It doesn't even feel like I have this silly disease, so I like to pretend like I don't. But yeah, from the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful for finding it, and I recommend it to anyone and everyone.
Well, thank you so much. It makes me so happy to see you doing well and you happy. So thanks very much, Tiffany.
Thank you.